All right. Welcome to my presentation, Student Transgressions, Gender Identity and Student Support, a Case Study Report by Kelly Hendricks. So the overview of this case study is that Keith is an 8th grader at Redline Middle School, and he is expressing that he is a transgender questioning student. Miss Regis, the counselor at Redline Middle School, has never encountered a transgender questioning student, and she is wondering if she can keep up with the changing times or if she even wants to. Miss Carter, Keith's mother, is at a loss. She has tried talking with Keith, taking away his phone and his Xbox. She has made it clear to him that she does not want him to wear a certain blonde wig at school or post pictures on social media. Keith has also experimented in school with changing his name to K. Brianna, but stopped when he was made fun of for the name change. Keith's teachers have tried to enforce Redline's anti-bullying policy, but they were left confused by the situation. Recently, Keith has been bullied on social media for posting pictures of himself wearing the blonde wig mentioned above. Mr. Guler and Mrs. Thomas are content area teachers who do not support Keith's recent activities. They feel he is simply seeking attention and trying to find ways to disrupt class. Mrs. Jackson, the dean of the discipline, is also not supportive of Keith. She would like to see him attend a different school, the Leadership Academy Middle School, who has recently opened a gender-neutral bathroom. Miss Dean is a first-year teacher who feels differently than the other teachers. She feels that offering support and a safe environment for Keith at Redline Middle School is the way to proceed. She wants to send a positive message to other students who may be in a similar situation. Miss Regis, the counselor, feels that they need to figure out how to protect Keith by stopping the bullying without being seen as advocating for any particular position. She doesn't want to advocate for a position because the community is a very conservative community, and she feels like they would not be supportive of any transgender students or teachings in the school. Mr. Gulen feels that their job is to stop Keith's outrageous behavior in order to stop the bullying. Miss Dean, our first-year teacher, becomes frustrated, but she continues to advocate for Keith's rights as a transgender questioning student. A meeting is set for the afternoon with Miss Regis and Miss Carter, the mother. The teachers and administrator are all questioning Miss Regis about what she is thinking she will say. So a little bit of background law and ethics. According to the National Center of Transgender Equality, Title IX is a federal law that makes sex discrimination illegal in most schools. On May 13, 2016, the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights and the Department of Justice jointly released guidelines on school district responsibilities for transgender students, and there is a link you could go to. Because the department's guidance is prevailing federal law, educators and districts should work toward adopting policies and practices that are consistent with the guidance. This would include adapting policies to ensure that students are not denied access to facilities and programs based on their gender identity, making people aware of students' rights and needed accommodations, developing plans for dealing with student transitions, developing policies for adapting student records, and working with the school community to help people understand the issues and their responsibilities through training programs on gender identity. Transgender students and their rights. They have the right to be treated according to their gender identity, the right to be called by the name and pronoun that match their gender identity, the right not to be bullied or harassed because they are transgender or gender nonconforming, the right to use restrooms and locker rooms that match their gender identity. They cannot be forced to use separate facilities. The right to get the same opportunities to learn and participate in school life as anyone else, no matter their gender, including their gender identity or expression, or race, nationality, or disability. Transgender students' rights also include the right to dress and present yourself according to your gender identity, the right to protect your privacy and choose who you tell and don't tell about being transgender, the right to join or start an LGBT student club like GSA or Pride Alliance, the right to be safe in school, the right to be yourself in school, and the right to be trans or transition at school. Transgender students are protected by the following: U.S. and state constitutions, Title IX of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, otherwise known as FERPA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, as well as state and local laws. My analysis of this case study is that the afternoon meeting that is coming up should include Ms. Carter, the counselor, Ms. Regis, and the concerned teacher or teachers. The Dean of Discipline, Mrs. Jackson, should be shut down by the counselor because she does not have the best interest of the student in mind. And also, this is not necessarily a discipline concern. Rather, it is rights of the student. The counselor could call the other school, Leadership Academy Middle School, for guidance to make sure that what she presents in the meeting is fair and just for everyone involved. That school might be willing to give her guidance on how to handle this within their school. Also, they could tell her if it might be better for Keith to attend their school. Another option would be to have a third party in the meeting who is experienced with this situation, and they could help both Ms. Carter and Keith, as well as the counselor and the teachers. The counselor should present the options available to Keith and his mother without encouraging one option over the other. She should not make them feel like they need to leave the school because he has every right to be at Red Line Middle School. But they also need to know the other option of the other school is available. Should Keith decide to stay at Red Line Middle School, there needs to be a plan of action in place so that he knows that there is a support system in place. If Keith is truly just acting out, that should become evident when the team meets to have a discussion about the action plan. If Keith chooses to stay at Red Line Middle School, there needs to be a lot of education for his or her peers so that bullying and other issues can be curbed. At the end of the day, it is our job as teachers in a school to create a safe environment for all students, not just the students we happen to agree with. This is on any issue, not just transgender. Keith and his mother, Ms. Carter, could both benefit from some form of therapy to help them through this situation. Keith is probably questioning many things and needs some guidance. Therapy does not mean that he is doing anything wrong. It simply means that he could use the help and guidance of somebody to walk him through this transgender questioning. And also his mother, Miss Carter, seems like she is a bit confused, and that speaking with someone who is knowledgeable in this area could be helpful to her as well. The references that I used for this presentation, first, Know Your Rights, A Guide for Transgender and Gender Nonconforming Students by ACLU and Gleason. Student Transgressions, Gender Identity and Student Support by Jay Halver. Know Your Rights, Schools by the National Center for Gender Equality. And the Transgender Question, What Are Schools to Do? By Cap'n Online, written by Jay Underwood. Thank you for listening. I hope that this presentation has taught you about the rights of the transgender students in our school, and I hope that everything turned out well for Keith and his mother. Thank you, and have a good afternoon, evening.